it's streaming now. Finally. Thank you. I think we're live properly up. Right. Ah, attack. Thank you. Hello everyone. Finally live, sorry I'm a bit late. Usual tech problems. Right. Hope everyone can hear me. Italy, Mexico, New York now. All over the place. Let's hope it works from now on. Just getting some stuff ready here. Right, so today I'll be continuing my, I guess you can call it, project of redoing some of my old pieces. Some things that I've sold in that because I want to redo pictures. And you've probably seen from the title, it's the Egyptian style jewellery. I hope everyone can hear me, that sound is alright. So do, obviously if you can't, then you can't hear me, say that. A bit of a faff to get it all to work this time. You hear me? Great. Good to know. I was getting a bit worried. Start your day. So I'm guessing that means a different part of the world than me, obviously. So like I said, I've been working on the intertwining, not the intertwining, sorry, the Egyptian style jewelry, mainly focusing on doing the bracelets here. I've already picked out my materials. It's the first time doing wire work on stream live like this, so hopefully it'll work alright. I know obviously I do videos, but it is slightly different. There I can kind of stop and start. Wilmington, Delaware, USA, Arizona. A bit away from here. Anyone else working on anything then? I hope it's alright in focus and everything. But yeah, damn the tech. Would be so nice if it was much easier. From Sweden. Not far from my home country. Michigan, Illinois, a lot of America. But I do know my majority of my audience is from America in the first place, so it makes sense. Right, around those players I think I left there. So yeah, still getting used to the whole streaming thing as well. This is only my 3rd time. Yeah, still keeping count. Especially with it not being just easy peasy. Right, beginning part. Let's get some beads in as well. Now, question is whether to use both sizes like I did in the original tutorial or just stick with the one. Decisions. So I'm using these blue metallic beads really with the copper wire. I really love this, one of my favorite combinations. I guess that's also part of what, when I originally made that bracelet, that what made me think kind of a little bit Egyptian style. It's kind of the combination of the colours as well. Right, so let's start attaching the other wires first of all. And I hope it's not too noisy or anything, but I have to kind of have the window open. I left it open because it's pretty hot over here at the moment. So hopefully it's not too bad. We do have quite a bit of noise around here, unfortunately, so those beads are so pretty. Yeah, I really like them too. Probably some of my favourites, especially hematite in general is my favourite, but metallic coated and probably especially the blue, there's just something really nice about it. And it goes with so many things. And also because hematite, my favourite gemstones, and they can be used for so many things because the holes are actually quite large for gemstones, so they're really versatile. Right, now let's decide here. I think I will mix it up a bit in the sizes like I did in the original. But obviously because I did sell it, I don't have it to kind of look at to see how many beads I used on that, so I'll just have to kind of redo it from scratch. Regina, Canada. Is that the same from last time? What's the best technique to get wires so straight? There's a few different ways you can do it. I don't really know if there's a best technique. It really depends on your personal preference. Personally, mostly I just use my hands and fingers. Let's get this back in. And get a wire. If I have my reel here, I usually always, before I straighten it, I prefer to leave it on my reel, because then you can grab hold of the reel here and straighten it like this. Or you can even use, let me get these, same principle, just using pliers instead, nylon coated pliers. But I prefer to leave the wire on the reels, whatever kind of reel that you have, because you got kind of leverage against it. Whereas if you already cut a length off, say for instance like this here, then you gotta just grab hold of the end, but obviously then that's going to get bent while you straighten it. So I prefer to leave it on. I feel it gets a much better result. But there is also a tool called the wire straightener tool, which is actually quite good as well. I do have it, I've tried it. So it's really a matter of personal preference. I do also have a video on straightening wire if you haven't seen that already, so that might be helpful. Love hematite too, but I haven't used any in other colours than the natural ones yet. Yeah, I love the natural ones as well, but actually I don't really find myself using them so much. It's more the coloured ones I tend to use. Probably because I just like colour in general. I'm very attracted to colour. America, Lithuania. Actually, maybe not so clever. These beads are going to go all over the place. Oh well. See if this is, you just need to adjust the focus a little bit. Is that better? Why is there a bit long here? Got some stuff in front of me that's kind of in my way, but oh well. Did you know where Lithuania is? I have a pretty good idea, but pretty easy to find out on a map. Right, so I'm starting out with some 6mm rounds here. Just like I did in the original, kind of graduating the size of the beads a little bit. Pliers out the way, don't get caught up too much. Been a long time since I made this bracelet, that's for sure. Had to look up my own tutorial just to kind of like remember some of the things I did. Try finding Houma, Louisiana, yeah. Louisiana sounds, obviously I recognize that, but that's the thing. America is always recognizable, but it's very few individual states and places within America that I could say, like say East Coast, West Coast, anything. It's very few. I just know if it's in America. Been sitting in the feed. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's happened or anything, but there was a bit, some technical things trying to start the stream. I don't really know what was happening, but I had a bit of help to sort it out because I really didn't know what to do. Seemed a little bit different than the other times as well. But glad you found this then. Way down south. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that. Just finished making Dreamcatcher you showed in a vid for your mum. Dreamcatcher. Don't think I've made something that specific as a Dreamcatcher, but obviously probably something that could be used as it. You have a boyfriend or a husband. I have a boyfriend of almost 10 years now. Coming up to 10 years next year, I think it is. So, more or less husband, I guess, just not officially. Near hurricane warning area. I don't know, so hurricane warnings again now. So just me, has been quite a lot of that recently in certain areas. Obviously heard of that in the news and that, but when there's natural stuff going on all the time, isn't there? And natural disasters and all that. Now you feel like you have to make this bracelet next. Feel free. Thankfully it's quite quick and easy to do so. From Greece. All over again. Get so much inspiration from my YouTube videos. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. Oops, beads are rolling. Stop. There we go. Yes, it's heading out that way, but the most it will be is a category 1. Which I'm guessing is more like heavy wind, but yeah, I'm glad I don't live in an area with hurricanes and all that, I'll be honest. Live in a rainforest. Wow. Get your Pineapple Express rainstorms from Hawaii. Six feet so far. Shouldn't just not quite there yet, I think, but what will this be? 2. Actually, I might do some 8mm now. Yeah, I think. Because then the 8mm are going to be across the middle. Let me get these 6mm out of the way, or they're going to literally go all over the place. What we're going to make, I'm making the Egyptian style bracelets for now. Costa Rica. Where do you get your wire and what gauge are they? I have 2 different places really where I've got my wire from. Stop rolling. Stop it. Thank you. Jewellerymaker.com. I get my wire. I really like the quality of their wire. And it's a bit on and off though with the wire that you can get from them. In the sense of having stock available and that. So also wires.co.uk is a good place, and they have a lot of choice. And that's also where I get my really big reels from. So these ones here, they're from Jewellery. But I have some reels that are even larger, as you can buy them in like a kilo reel from wires.co.uk, which I'm working my way up towards getting those reels in all the gauges and copper and silver, and also bare copper I would like. The Olympic National Rainforest is in the Pacific Northwest. So beautiful. Trees everywhere. Rains a lot, but you can't beat the beautiful summers and green everywhere. Yeah, it sounds quite amazing to be honest, living in like a rainforest area. Love the bracelet, thank you. Can you tell us a story? How did you catch on these jewelry making from beads? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Where I got the beads from, or you gotta get yourself a bead mat to help with the rolling beads, yeah. Usually if I'm just making something like by myself, I do have a bead mat that I work on, or rather a bead board, it's probably more precise. That is really good. I use that a lot, especially for doing beaded kamihimo as well. But when I do videos, and obviously right now I'm streaming and that, I have this, it's a macrame board actually. I've got it flipped around so it's the back of it, it's a white one. just to have a nice background, but obviously it's quite easy for the beads to roll around. Arkansas, love your work, thank you so much. Love what I make, love watching my videos, thank you. I'm currently making the beaded butterfly Kamihima bracelet. Yeah, perfect time, really. Well, I don't know obviously where you're from, what weather you have, but it's very summery here. Basically been a heat wave, which is wonderful when you're not really acclimatized to that. Often put your beads in a small dish or something to stop them from escaping. Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a good background for videos, makes it easy to see what you're doing. Yeah, I think so. I do have some other backgrounds. It's really just pieces of fabric. Got some of them here actually. For when I need a different colour, I just literally got. It is a case-ish because I use it for my project macrame board, especially when I do micro macrame, but occasionally I'll use them as background, especially if I'm doing, say, silver wire or something. It can be a little bit hard to see against the white background, so I'll tend to use a different colour. And just measure this again. My hair out of the way. What do we have? About 4, so we want to do 7. 3.5 will be the midpoint, so I think this is actually going to be the middle bead, which means another 3 of the large ones. Yeah, I think so. It's hot in Canada too. This year you went from snow and winter straight to summer. Yep, exactly the same as here. It was literally the snow and cold lasted longer than it normally does. It was at least into March, if not April, as well. I'm thinking. I think it went into April. And we had snow for like a week and a weekend and that. And then the following weekend, we got like a heat wave. Like, what the hell is going on? Which do you like most, wirework, macrame, or kumihimo? I'll be honest, I dreaded that question coming up because I don't really think I can answer it. Well, my answer would probably have to be all of it equal, really. I couldn't really choose. The only thing I would say, if I was forced, someone twisted my arm and threatened me, I would probably have to say wirework just because you can do both macrame and kumihimo with wire as well. So that would be the only reason. And last one. Hello, Shayna. Do you ever oxidize your wire? If so, how do you like to do it? Yeah, I have done a bit. It's not what I did the most of since making jewelry, but last year I did a bit because I was doing a project that I haven't shared yet, but it'll be coming out soon. Where I did oxidize some stuff, and I've actually been planning. I have things kind of laying around waiting that I'm going to be oxidizing, but I'm not going to just kind of make the whole thing and oxidize one thing. I kind of like to collect a few things together, so I kind of do it in batches. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm planning on probably doing that quite soon, and also I was thinking of doing a video with that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I have done it, and I use the, what's it called? That gel thing. What's it? I can't remember the name. 5. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Back to the 6 mil. So I'll be doing a batch of oxidizing jewelry soon. You have to go. Well, thank you for joining. You're late. So was I. Bloody tech. Just joined. Are you able to explain again how to do the bracelet? Well, yeah, it's really maybe just easy enough to see what I'm doing. I just started out making the one half of the clasp part, and then you just add, what do I have? 4 lengths of 0.4mm wire there in total, and I wrap the middle around the bottom there, and then I add 1 bead at a time, and then I do this process of, in my case, I have to start with my right side, it doesn't really matter, just stay consistent, wrap that around, back out to the same side where it came from, and then the other one over that, and out to the same side where it came from, and you just keep going like that. Is that non-tarnish or bare cover? This is non-tarnish. It's what I use the most. It is my favourite. I started using bare copper last year, because obviously for oxidizing jewellery. So I do like that as well, and I want to be using it more, but only really for pieces that I know I'll be oxidizing. If I won't be oxidizing it, definitely non-tarnish is my favourite. I really think it works so well. I have pieces that I made, oh goodness, years ago that still look the same as they did when I first made them. So I really do. That's my favourite wire. My absolute favourite anyway, because I like oxidized jewellery, but I really do like bright copper. That is my absolute favourite. As in a copper wire anyway. Every time you work with wire, you always bust a blood vessel in your thumb. Does this ever happen to me? Don't think so. Sounds strange. Is it because the wire's a bit rough in your hands, or is it the movement or something? What I do get is, that's not just wire though, that's not kamihimo, it's wire and macrame. I get, I guess you would call it calluses or whatever, hard skin in literally specific place. Partly because it's where the wire runs when I wrap with wire, but also when I do macrame, that's also where the cord runs over. So that's the one thing I do get. It's a little annoying, but I can live with it. You can do kamihimo too with wire. Yep. I have a few tutorials of it already, and I'm gonna have a lot more coming up soon with wire kamihimo. I do really like that, so I've been working a lot with it the past year or so. Awesome that you love all 3, yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, there's kamihimo, wirework, and macrame, they're like the main mediums that I work with. I would love to do other things as well. I've been wanting to get into chainmail pretty much since I started as well, but just never really got around to it, or took the time or whatever. And I would also like to do a bit more beading than I do. I only kind of do that occasionally. So I would like to do other things as well. It's just obviously finding time for everything and like learning something new. Christina can do anything. I wish. Let me just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, yeah, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just one more. Liver of sulfur. Yeah, that's the one. Liver of sulfur gel thing is what I've used. May already have said, and I missed it, but how do you know how long the wire needs to be when making a bracelet? It really depends. I think with experience you kind of just become more familiar with it, with guessing. Because obviously you get more experience from previous things that you've done, but obviously depends what you are doing, so Like I know I tend, for example, for this I have one, you call it base wire running through the whole bracelet. That really just needs to be the length to go around your wrist and a bit to make a clasp if you're obviously making a clasp from it as well. So that's a pretty standard length regardless what bracelet you're making. Had to miss a lot of this, but thanks so much for all your community tutorials. You're welcome and no problem. Found a Kumihimo kit at Value Village for like $2. Haven't tried it yet. Wonder what that's like. Right, let me just double check my beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6. Yep, so that should be it now. Wait, means I've done this one a little bit wrong. It's supposed to be the last one. Open that back up. Need to finish off the weaving wires here. Love my videos, makes things so easy to understand. Thank you. That is the goal, so it's really nice to hear. So this is a pretty quick bracelet to make, to be honest. Next one. I've done the same bracelet, but instead of intertwining the whole groups of wire, I did it wire by wire. More like the original herringbone weave, yeah. Looks great, a little bit more work, but I love working and it looks a little bit more sophisticated. I've literally just been, I think it's because I knew I was making these, my head started going a little bit, playing around with a different way of maybe doing it a little bit. I'm going to try it out and see how that looks. Was anyone else working on anything? Am I watching or? 1, 2. Last one. Right. Flush cutters. Get these off. South Carolina. Love my videos, thank you. Bracelet looks awesome. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Just get these out of the way. There we go. Pick them up later. Oops. Feel that. Play and pause as you make yours. They're very easy to listen to as well. Thank you. I can't work and watch. Live to watch the magic happen from your hands. I'm getting some traditional native bead edging done. Wow, that sounds interesting. Traditional native bead edging. Wrapping capuchons. done 2 and we'll redo them soon. Yeah, I don't think I've done a capuchin in a while. Kind of missed that a little bit. Probably do one soon. Keep thinking about it for some reason. I never really. Well, I have like a whole box, you could say, a storage box full of capuchins basically. I should just get it out and sit and look at them and get a bit of inspiration and pick one. There's always something else. Florida, making a handbag, stitching a lining to it now. I think I'd be a natural at chainmail. I'd really love to. Stuff I've seen is absolutely beautiful. I probably will do it at some point. It's just obviously taking the time out to actually kind of get into it. And something I've always thought of, kind of finding the right jump rings, because I want to make sure it's still good quality on that. Followed many of my tutorials and loved them all. That's how you learned wire weaving. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Hope you can see well enough. You'll probably hear sirens at some point as well, because we live right by a hospital, so don't worry if you do. It's all the time. In California. All you're getting is a picture of coloured wire from the stream. Miami, Florida, raining here. Alberta is bringing us ugly weather. Love Kahima videos, thank you. The wires I'm wrapping now, did you use 8 wires or 4 long ones? I used 4, and then the middle of all of them I just attached there at the beginning, and then you have 4 there on either side. So don't forget to hit that like button. Nope, absolutely. Just ordered chainmail jewel rings and can't wait to get started. Yeah. So I do find there is quite a big difference in the quality of jewel rings, isn't there? That's why I will just make sure to kind of get proper ones when I do get around to it. Get rid of those as well. Just showed your mum some of the wire kumihimo bracelets. We probably will try those next, but I love this pattern. Thank you. Actually, that is something as well. The what do I call that? Is it the hollow wire kumihimo bracelet? It's the hollow braid structure. I've got to make that as well. That sold a long time ago. Love my videos. Get back to wire weaving once you move. Yeah, that is a big thing, moving. Right. Just straight here. Actually, no, it's... Oh, there we go. Just gotta make sure I make the other end in the same way. My videos are the best outlet to learn from. Thank you so much. My 6-step filmmaking pliers, my good old trusty filmmaking pliers. Some of my, well, a pair of my absolute favourite pliers, these. Use them all the time, literally. Nice circle. Love my work, thank you. Inspire you to be better, and I hope someday to be as good as you. Thank you. I'm sure you're great. Right. Let's cut off the excess. About that length, a bit longer. Make a little spiral like I did in the original, which means I need the round nose pliers. Sometimes you have to close out of YouTube and reopen it in order for the streaming to load properly. Tech. Twirl the bracelet again. Make sure it's in focus. There we go. So, almost finished the first one already here. It was quite quick to do. I kind of forgot how fast it was to make this. It's been so long since I made it. I think the video is like, I don't know, possibly 3 years old. Like that. I'm just gotta shape it. Actually, no, wait, I've gotta just bend this as well. Which I will do with my 6-step elegant pliers as well. Chain nose just to kick it back out a little bit so it's easier to get in the clasp. Your wires won't stay in the Kamihimo disc. What can I do about it? Do you mean like in the slots? I watched the video for this bracelet last night. Beautiful, thank you. I watched it just before starting the stream. Well, not completely, but just a clip or two, just to make sure I remembered how to do it. Oh, it was really more to see the lengths of wire and that I used. And something like that. That's pretty much done. Right. On to the next one. Hello from Greece. Don't speak English, but the handicraft are very nice. You understand? Thank you. English seems alright. When can we expect the next episode of Kumihimo 101? Sorry for the spelling. Spelling seems fine. Oh, cool. Not slightly. It's probably just typo. Soon. I did do one just recently. I know there was a long time between the first one and the second one. It didn't mean it to be that long, but a lot of stuff came up. But I'm planning to want to do it a little bit more regular than not so far between them as the first and the second one. That was a bit too far. I'm planning on doing like part of it as well, do like basic braid structures and that. There we go. Very pretty, thank you. Hate came in so late. Not too late. I started late myself, so bent the wire hook inwards, which is better, inwards or outwards. It's really personal preference. It's just something I've always done. I know a lot of people prefer it outwards, but for some reason I just kind of tend to do it inwards. It really depends, I think, because some people find it a little bit annoying on the wrist. In that case, obviously just bend it outwards. And this one has to be just cut in the slots of the disc. Right. Well, I get what you mean, because when I do wire kumihimo, it is obviously it's very different than cord, and I do find, because the way I work with it, you have obviously the wire in the middle of the disc coming down through the hole, and I hold it differently than I hold it with cord as well. But the wires in the slots, they kind of want to pop out, I guess you could say. So I do get what you mean, but I tend to just keep kind of pushing them down and keep kind of pulling them down, trying to keep control over them. I was thinking as well actually doing wire kumihimo, kind of 101 series like regular kumihimo. Because I think that might be helpful, because I do have some actual tutorials for pieces of jewellery, but I was thinking it might be helpful doing like a basic on how I like to work with it, because it's quite different, like I said, than cord. What am I doing? Getting this wire out. Always wondered how get inspired to do the work I do. I don't really know. It just kind of comes. Right. Sometimes you do get inspired from certain things, or obviously nature is an obvious one that's very inspiring for anything, I think, but Korean. I'll attach to these. This one will only be with one size beads, because the ones I'm using only having the one size, unfortunately, which is unfortunate because I do really love those beads. I wish I had them in all sizes. Let's finally get two different ones then. Right, get the beads out. Italy. So quite rose gold like. I think they'll go really nicely with that silver wire there. And then be quite a different look than obviously that blue and copper, so but using the same technique. Massachusetts. White bob makes it hard to see what I'm doing with the silver wire. Yeah, I thought that might be the case. I'll see about putting something else under. Yes, please do a wire coming series 101. I'll get on that. Just debating on kind of when to do it, whether to just mix it up with the other one in between. It doesn't have to obviously be, I only do one at a time. I've also thought about doing a macrame 101. Right, so that one, will that work alright? I also have a dark grey that might work. Might be better. Just a sec, I'll just get it ready. Much better. Grey is much better. Great. I'll stick with this. And I might just have to turn the lighting theme down a little bit. It's not too overexposed. A little bit more. Sorry, it's a bit shaky. I have to do it on the camera. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Right, I think I already undid it. Yeah, I did. Thanks for taking time to share your many talents. Thank you. Well, you're welcome and thank you. Now, I think because this is kind of a cloth thing, the beads are not going to roll quite as much, so that's quite handy actually. Right, just got a few out at a time. I think I'll need more than this though, but loved and tried the leopard kumihimo, but it didn't turn out well. Oh, that's a shame. Was it the pattern that didn't really turn out the way you wanted? Watch whatever I do. Thank you. And I'm getting hairs all over. It needs to stay on my head, but it doesn't. Please do macrame 101. I probably will. Just kind of gotta figure out how to start. Hair all over. Probably start like with the kumihimo one. Introduce like the tools and that first. But then also you could obviously do some wire macrame as well, like with the kumihimo. So lace across the side. I really like this combination actually. That silver wire with the rose gold-ish beads. I think that'd be quite elegant. I haven't made this bracelet in other ones before. Previously, the tutorial was obviously for this colour here, and never really made it in any other colour combinations, so they're quite interesting. Is the wire sterling? No. I do have a little bit of it, and I did some jewellery ages ago because I actually did some jewellery for a present, so I purposely made it kind of sterling to be a bit more valuable. But other than that, I haven't really, because it's quite pricey, so I would like to use it here and there, but I do really like this wire, so I'm not desperate to use sterling silver or anything. It's more like a one-off treat, I guess you could say. It would be. I think you used the wrong beads, but dynamite. Got disappointed and started practicing macrame with leather. Well, at least you moved on to something else then. What type of wire do you use? This is silver coated copper wire, and it's anti-tarnish as well. My favorite kind. I've had these beads for ages. I've used them once or twice, but I think also because I really like them. I tend to do that sometimes, where I have some beads or even cabochons that I really, really like. I tend to try to not use them too much, especially if it's ones that I can't just, like say these, hematite, coated hematite, you can kind of get quite readily, but something like these, they were like a one-off thing that I haven't seen since, and I have quite a few beads like that, and I tend to try and not use them too much because I want to save them, but at the same time that doesn't make sense because then what was the point in getting them? So I'm very torn regarding that in general, but like, you want to save it for something special, but then you can just keep saving it and you end up never using it. We'll be attaching a supplies list with this video. A material list of things that I've used then afterwards. I can see about doing that. Otherwise, it is in the original tutorial. Obviously the things that I used in that, but and the tutorial is linked. Well, I'm saying that the stream was a little bit dodgy to begin with, so I don't actually know if it's this stream or if it started a new one. I'll have to check that after, as it's processing and all that jazz. So yeah, just made this bracelet here, that's finished now. I'm making this bracelet, and I also need to make the, not necessarily doing all this now today or anything, but overall I also need to make the earrings because they sold as well. The ring I need to make just because that one I kept for myself, but it's gotten too big, so I kind of need to make it again so I can wear it because it's one of my favorite rings. I can't really wear it anymore, so it just kind of falls off. So I have to make that as well again. Could also easily make a necklace, really, I guess. Just basically doing this a short length and then kind of just shaping it so it kind of curves on the neckline. Could work as well. I'm getting them a little bit tangled up here. There we go. Mexico. It's always hot in Mexico, isn't it? My impression. Might be wrong, but alright. What do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And how long is this? We're about halfway there. 8, so get another 8 to 9 beads out or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I already have the one. There we go. So, did anyone watch or follow the royal wedding or anything? Was it last weekend? I think it was. Time passes so quickly. I did kind of watch it, I guess you could say. I just had it on in the background. I was doing work while it was on, but I'm not really too fussed about it, but I thought it could be kind of good to watch as well to get inspiration for jewellery, but, you know. It was more about the dresses and that, I guess, the outfits that people wore. I guess it's always positive though. Watch a bit of it. And when he couldn't find me there, I turned it off. I just realised what you wrote then. I was just about to thank you for the lovely wedding jewellery videos. You're welcome and thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I kind of thought I might as well maybe use the opportunity because wedding jewellery isn't really something I specifically have done before. Obviously it doesn't have to be wedding jewellery. To be honest, I would kind of wear it myself, not just for wedding. It reminds me, I actually meant to put on one of the rings. Just a second. Right here. I'll do the silver one. I've considered maybe wearing probably the ring, probably bracelet for my birthday. Just literally for going out. Nothing really fancy or anything, but I don't really care. There's only so many places you get to wear jewellery, so might as well. So yeah, my birthday is coming up soon, so yay, 1 year older. Oh well, happens to us all. Bloody hell. Birds are going for outside. Chirping along. Don't know how much you can hear, but the ring. Thank you. I do quite like it myself. I really like the sparkle. Yeah, I have a weakness for that, but that's not exactly a secret. Considering the alternative is death. Yeah, good point. Hello, thank you for doing this live video. You're welcome and thank you for joining. Always love watching you. I just joined. May I ask what gauge wire it is and what kind? Is it square wire? Thank you. What gauge? The base wire, well the thick one there is a 1mm and these ones are 0.4mm. and it's silver coated copper wire that's anti-tarnish. It's not square. I do have square wire, I've had it for quite a while, again something I've been wanting to work with. I just haven't really gotten around to it yet, along with so many other things. But I'll get there, I'm sure. But you can make some amazing things with square wire, I've seen, so I would really love to start working a bit with that as well. I've recently got some, it was called wire tape, I think it was called. It's basically some flat wire. It's not that wide really. I was kind of hoping to find even wider wire as well. I had some ideas, but I got that to begin with at least. I can always try and find some wider flat wire elsewhere, but I'm quite curious to try and use that as well, because obviously that'll work very differently than just regular round or anything, so quite curious to kind of experiment with that. I've just done it again, haven't I? If this is the last one, let me just check the length here. Yeah, that's probably the last one. So I shouldn't just wrap them around like the other times. The exact same thing that I did with the previous one. Finishing it off. Sorry, the second one really, it's gone quite fast. Yeah, quite fast to do though. Death from jewellery. I'm allergic to metal, but death. Allergic to metal. Ugh, that's a bummer. I will say I did recently, I think it was last week when I did the wedding jewellery. The headpiece or hairpiece that I did, obviously I kind of modelled it on myself and took pictures and had it laying across the forehead there right underneath my hair. And I did actually experience was it the same night, like the day after, I felt like I had a bit of like reaction to it, which I didn't expect because I don't react to any of my jewellery that I wear, like hands, fingers or anything. So I didn't expect that, but it must probably just be because I don't normally wear stuff on my head in that way. But that was a little bit odd, but or maybe it was just more sensitive right at that point. Maybe it just tells me to not wear something like that for my own wedding. Yeah, death from jewellery, that would be a new one to me. Bummer. I definitely would feel weird not being able to wear jewellery. Obviously there's other stuff you can wear than metal, but I don't really wear jewellery all the time. One thing I do, when I go out, I always have to put on a ring. That's a minimum. I don't necessarily put on the whole shebang, bracelet, necklace or anything, but I always put on a ring. I feel odd or almost naked going out without a ring on. So I do have to kind of always take an extra couple of minutes choosing what ring to put on, which my partner is very happy about. Just wants to get on with it, but you know. Clear them out of the way as well. Received your Kumihimo starter kit from your Etsy shop and it's excellent. Thank you. I've used most of the cords supplied and love the results, but I'm stuck on trying to start my first beaded one. Thank you so much. I'm really glad to hear that. Well, obviously if it sounds like maybe you haven't done a beaded one before, then literally just try and start. Don't worry about a pattern, but just try and kind of practice getting the beads in a braid, and then you can always do like a simple pattern after you feel comfortable with it. That's fine. Get them out of the way as well. Right, finish off that end. Need chain nose, and that's actually, wait, just make sure it's straight like that. And then my trusty 6-step bell making pliers again. What size did I use before? Yeah, I think it was that one. Hi, Christy. Do I sell a lot of my stuff? If by stuff you mean jewellery, then I have sold some, not a lot, but that's also partly because I don't really like selling if I can help it. Especially now, I've kind of not regret selling what I've sold, but because last year I got a new camera, much better quality than what I had before, and I want to update a lot of my pictures from my website. But obviously the pieces that I've sold, I kind of now have to remake before I can then take pictures again. Like this one here, which I don't mind doing, obviously it's just more spending time on it. But obviously I don't regret selling what I've sold. Hopefully people are happy with what they got, so I don't know, it's always been a bit of a weird subject for me, like selling things. I've never felt the most comfortable with it. I have sold a fair bit over the years, but it's not something I've pushed the most. It's kind of more just happened. Thanks for answering, not a problem. Wait, this one. Love my videos. Thank you so much. Thanks for the inspiration. Thank you for support. It means a lot. Definitely wouldn't be the same without you watching and supporting. Let me just double check here. A little bit more. And shape it. Quite a nice combination, I think, the beads and the wire. Kind of glad I used these beads for this. I've had them for so long, I've been saving them. I still have some left, don't get me wrong, but obviously when it's kind of running low on some of your favourite beads, it's like, oh no, you don't really know where to get hold of them again. I have a few others as well. I have, what are they, agate, I think? It's like a green and purple mix in the colour of them, and I think they're just, I absolutely love them. I have them in 2 sizes. I would love them in more sizes, but that's all that was available. But they were more like a one-off from what I could tell, so I don't know if I could just get hold of them again, so I tried to be a bit sparingly with them. I did kind of buy a few when they were available just to make sure I had more than just one strand of each, but obviously they will run out eventually. Like that, finished. Yeah, again, you see I did it, the clasp. Oh, this was towards the outside, I didn't even realise. Oh well. And just flip it around anyway. But it doesn't really matter. The main thing is just to kind of get them in for pictures and that, so they're ready for that. Totally understand about the selling thing. I used to sell my paintings on Etsy and never liked the marketing aspect of doing business. Yeah, there's that, but it's also just the whole, it's not about necessarily loving what you've made yourself, whether it's jewelry or artwork or whatever. It's more if like you kind of sell the original, whether it's a piece of jewelry or painting, then it's gone, you never see it again. And you might not use it yourself or hang it on a wall or anything, but it's just more, I think, the principle. Especially if it's something that you're quite happy with, actually. It's a bit, what, do you really want to sell it, or right. 0.8, what's this? Oh no. That's my 0.8, yeah. 25 centimeters. Just have to measure that. Might as well maybe get on with the earrings a little bit. Considering they are pretty quick here, so the bracelets are 25. I sell my jewelry on Instagram. Yeah, I know a lot of people use Instagram for selling. It's something I've yet to figure out a little bit because some of the technical stuff. And I follow quite a lot that sell stuff like gemstones and yeah, basic gemstones is a bit of a weakness. I follow quite a lot of people that sell that on Instagram. It's just the whole, the what's it called? The technical things of doing it all. Because I know there's like, I think it's something fairly new that's actually like a sell button or something you can attach to your picture, but I still haven't quite figured out how that works. Some of them I can Google and still look at online. Well, that's handy. It's still not quite the same thing though, is it? At the same time, it's like, does it make sense to just hoard all your own things? Because especially if you don't use it or hang all of it up, it's just kind of where someone else could get enjoyment out of it. It makes sense at the same time, so a bit of both. Usually make one piece for yourself and one more to sell. Yeah, it's probably a pretty good idea. Obviously, it's just more time. I tend to, most of my pieces, let me just see, 50 centimeters. Most of my pieces, most of them, I only make one of each. And usually, really, it's just more for time's sake, because obviously I do tutorials and that. There are some times where I like make a prototype first, and then obviously I record a tutorial, but most of the time I just kind of make the one piece. You understand? I want to keep everything I make, and I don't even wear much jewelry. Yeah, exactly the same as me. I'm not like desperate to keep what I make for the sake of just keeping it. It's just, I don't know. I don't even really know why. Well, I do know a little bit why. I also do like to use my old pieces. I use them a lot for inspiration for new things. I have a couple of bags, I guess you could call it, or boxes where I store jewelry in that I've made before. And then quite often I'll get it out and kind of go through it to get inspiration for some new pieces, whether it's to make pieces to match or just it sparks an idea for something new that I can do. I do that quite a lot as well. That's also one reason why I like to keep what I make. But at the same time, if you keep everything, it's kind of like going to just stack up, and it's not like we have a whole lot of space either, so oh well. Five. I'm just cutting the wires for the earrings as well here. Might as well be a bit more efficient. Six, I think. I need 8 in total, 4 for each earring. I often keep the first one I make of something and then have to make another to sell. Yeah. That is the ideal, really. Obviously, the only thing is it's just more time to make. Spending more time to make things. Which, I'm not gonna lie, time is not what I have the most of. Because, to give an example, I made, I think it was back in February, a bracelet I made for a tutorial. I did make already 2 for the tutorial because I made a prototype first and then I made the one for the actual, or in the actual tutorial. But then because I thought I want to make one for myself, I started doing that and it's still laid there not finished on the table. Because it's just, there's always something else to do. And I also have one other thing of that I was making something, another one of, that I did in a tutorial, and again, I've not finished that either. So it's kind of all just laying waiting for me. Right, let me find how some tails in all my beads here. I'm sure I'll get to it, obviously don't get me wrong, it's just something else always creeps up. Which I'm not complaining about, because obviously it's a good thing, but 4 mil, 16 for each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Actually wonder whether I should switch back to the white background, because it's back to copper wire again. I really think we need the grey one. And I just put all the beads on that though. And now they're going to start rolling again as well, aren't they? Oh well. Right. Glad to hear that you have UFOs too, unfinished objects. Yeah. A few. Like I said, I don't like having that, and I usually always try to finish everything I make. But it does happen, unfortunately. UFOs. I remember that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's good to have a project just to pick up for the one day in the future when there's nothing else to do. Yeah, I agree. The problem is At least for my case, there's never really nothing else to do. Which, like I said, is not really a problem, it's a good thing, but I guess it's also a matter of prioritizing. But I'll get there. Right. Okay. One at a time. So did anyone watch Eurovision? A couple of weeks ago now, I think. I'm thinking maybe not so much in America, but that I think I'll just turn that up again. One more. Yeah. We watch Eurovision. We do watch it every year. I'm not like a die-hard fan or anything, but I don't know, I do enjoy watching it. What gauge wires do you use for the earrings? There's almost the same, except the base wire is a 0.8 mil, so just slightly thinner, one step lower gauge basically. So it's still somewhat strong, but obviously a little bit more malleable and a little bit finer because it's earrings and it's smaller beads as well. Also, earrings don't really need to hold the shape as much, so obviously kind of just hang and dangle from your ear. But the weaving wire is the same. The ring I used, I remember for the base wire, that was a 0.8, and then the weaving wires, well, the thin gauge wires for that one, that was a 0.25, I'm pretty sure, so quite a fine one. I really need to get that made. I want to start wearing that again. Actually, maybe I should do a couple of different color combinations of that one too. I do quite like the different effect here of using the same weaving fine wire, but because the beads are so small, it kind of gets swallowed up a little bit more, but I still like the way it looks. But then it still looks quite nice on the larger beads as well. Quite interesting. So yeah, this is wire. So I've done the first and the second stream I did was macrame, and he's doing wire in this. So yet to do some kumihimo on the live stream. Might see about trying to do that for next time if I can. I would love to do the hollow wire kumihimo one if I could. I'm just not sure how it'll work, because obviously I'm kind of working for a limited space here and under the camera. Otherwise, I might just have to do some corded kumihimo. But then I have to even check what I've still got yet to make. I've still got quite a few things that I'd have to remake. It really depends on that. Would you go down to 3 weaving wires on each side for the earrings? You definitely can. I've just done the same 4, but really depends, I guess. If you want it a little bit more open, then you could definitely use 3 instead. Oh, you could also use the 0.25 for the earring, same as I did for the ring. It will make it a little bit finer as well, but it all depends on the look that you want. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8. I think it's halfway. Yeah. Checking everything is working fine, not like last time where it crashed. If you wanted more space between the beads, how would it be done? I guess you could always just wrap an extra time. So you would just, obviously this is the next one on duty wrap, but instead of adding a bead, you could just wrap it around again and then do the other one. That'll create a bit more space between the beads, yet keeping the kind of theme, I guess you could say, or the pattern going. Could be probably quite interesting looking. A bit windy out there. Bloody warm though, but it's been a bit windy today. No problem. It's gone pretty fast making these actually. I know they're not all going to be like that, all the things I have to remake. But these ones are pretty fast. Second to last one. Now remember to not do the last one the same way, like I did with both bracelets. Finish it off. Think like, no, that one first. So is anyone watching anything at the moment? Any films, any TV shows? We're currently watching The Bridge. I think we just started season 3. I'm looking forward to Jurassic World coming out though. Been waiting for that. That's actually what we're going to go watch for my birthday, so for once it comes out before my birthday. Usually the stuff I want to watch always comes out after. Been binge watching Call the Midwife on Netflix. I'm not familiar with that. Not heard of that before. Is it a fictional thing or like a documentary thing? Because they've started doing more documentaries now, haven't they? Right. All of them wrapped around. Now, flush cutters. Hiding. There we go. Do you have to finish it doing one side at a time? Can you not go right wire, left wire, right, left? Absolutely, you can do that. I just do it this because throughout I only do the one side at a time. But you could do it that way as well. Just waiting impatiently for the new season of Doctor Who to come to the United States. Doctor Who, that's not something I watch. Never really been my cup of tea. Don't know why, but oops. Hopefully that would have been interesting. Cutting off the wire instead of squeezing it down. Really love watching your hands work their magic. And in combination with your lovely voice, makes for very soothing. In addition to instructive tutorials indeed. Thank you. It's really nice. I think you should be Dr. Y. I don't think I've actually ever watched an episode of Doctor Who, but I know it's not really for me. Never really been attracted to it, but we have quite a few things that we need to start watching, but I don't like having multiple things on the go at once either. At the moment we're doing The Bridge, and I think there's like there's 4 seasons here, I'm pretty sure. So we tend to kind of finish one thing before we move on to another thing, unless obviously it's something that's ongoing, like Walking Dead, that you can only really watch as it goes, once you're caught up anyway. Even though we are still yet to watch the second half of the new season. We've been saving that a bit. think I forgot my mandrel to shape it around. I'm just going to use a pillbox here. Oh, vitamins. It's too big. Use whatever you got handy, right? Right. It has to be perfect shape. I can always reshape it after. Who says you need to spend a crap load of money? Pill bottles are fabulous. Yep. Yeah, it's anything really, isn't it? Like, don't get me wrong, I have mandrels and I like using mandrels, but you don't really have to have everything, that's for sure. The bridge, is that the Mexican-American border? No, it's... The bridge is a Danish-Swedish TV show originally. Then it was, well, UK and France, I guess, took it over and turned it into the tunnel. We watched that last year, all the tunnel ones. But then we thought we want to watch the original bridge one, because it's about the bridge that crosses between Sweden and Denmark. And it's in Danish and Swedish, so good old home country lingo. Doesn't hurt a bit. I don't hear that much of it, so no, that would be offense. Aren't you from Finland? Me? Or what? In that case, no, I'm from Denmark. Born and bred in Denmark. Made in Denmark. Sorry, no worries. Do you keep your trimmings of wire, I'm guessing? And as a matter of fact, yes, I do. I have little boxes, just clear kind of plastic containers, and I separate them as well. So all my silver cut-offs go in one, and my copper, the non-tarnish goes in one, and then also copper that is bare copper that goes in one as well. Kind of keep it separate. I do, because occasionally the trimmings are long enough that you can actually use it for something else, so I save it for that reason. But also, I don't know, I just don't like kind of binning wire, but also maybe over time you can save up enough to maybe, I don't know, hand it in, get some money for the metal or something. Don't really know how that works, but I know you can do it. Right, loop time. But for instance, I quite often, like these ones here, I tend to save especially the 0.4mm cut off like this, almost regardless how short they are, because them I can use always for doing beaded kumihimo. I use them, wrap them around my cord before I start to help pull it down through the disc, so that is definitely handy for that. And then also I find sometimes you can use it if you want to just try something, but you know it's scrap wire, so you're not really wasting like new wire. So just experiment with or stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely think it's handy to keep it. And don't get me wrong, it's not the best for saving space because it kind of just adds up. But I used to also keep cord trimmings. I still have some, but it's only if I know the really long lengths that can be used for something else. But I used to kind of keep it in bags, but I stopped doing that because I never used it. I thought it's just a waste of space. So I've stopped keeping short cord trimmings. But I do keep them if another long enough to use for something like a Kamima braid or something. Alright, so this one is pretty much done. I can't attach it to an earring finding right now because that's a little bit too far away for me to reach. But that's no biggie, that's quick and easy to do after. So that with bracelet goes pretty well. Well, I should do. It's the same materials pretty much. So joke time. Do you know why Norway put barcodes on each military ship? Nope. Could a ring made in this style be similar to the earrings? How would you connect it? Thanks for the wonderful tutorials. I have already got a tutorial for a ring. I should have brought it down, really, the actual ring. Yes, I have made a ring for it, which I also want to remake because, like I said earlier, it's one I've kept for myself because I really like it. If you can imagine. But I have to remake it because it's gotten too big. So, but I have a tutorial already. If you look on my channel, it's where it's similar to the earring, but it's only like, I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 beads I use, but then I make a ring band around for the rest. So it's only at the top of the front there you actually see the beads. That one I already cut that already. The cord trimmings are great if you know someone who does journals and scrapbookings. Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't know, but I did think at one point, I think in the beginning when I was saving them, I kind of thought, oh, I guess one of my excuses to save them was, well, you can always use it as filling. Like if you make something instead of buying stuffing, whatever you call it, use it as filling. But I kind of quickly ditched that idea. I don't think it would be quite the best texture, I guess, inside. It really depends what you're making, but plus I don't really make anything to fill, so kind of wasn't really a reason after all. Call the Midwife is based on the experiences of young midwife who served the ladies on the east end of London before the push for hospital births. Really? Do you know why Norway put barcodes on each military ship so they can Scandinavian? Wow. I've not actually heard that one before. Can make a grab bag and sell them on Etsy. Yeah, I guess you could. I have actually thought, not with a cord, but because when you buy strands of gemstones and that, not all of them, but some of them come with little tassels on the end. I don't myself use tassels for anything, but I have thought, I do save them though, I don't just bin them because I know a lot of people do like to use them. I've given my mum some of them, but otherwise I have thought maybe save them and then you could always kind of pass them on because I do know some people use them, so instead of just wasting them just because I don't. There's no reason for that. You could, I guess, do the same with tassels. 1, 2. I need it 16, 5, 10, 14. Right. Let me just put it back through so I don't grab it thinking it's already been fastened and then it hasn't. And then we have beads all over. There we go. Thinking ahead. Yes, it started in the 1940s and I'm up to the 60s. So it's like more of a documentary type thing. And I just realized they're going to go all over again. It's a story. Alright, okay. So is it that same principle as, what is it, Downton Abbey that does that? Again, I've never watched that, but where you kind of just follows different periods of time. I've never heard of that. I think I usually tend to go a bit more for crime related things, actiony type things. I think mostly that's really what I tend to watch. And the characters are excellent. The series was originally based on the memoirs of Jennifer Worth, who worked with the community of St. John the Divine, an angelic religious order, at the convent in the East End of London. Okay. So it's based off of something then. It's a bit more like a drama thing, I'm guessing, or... My hair's in the way. So a recreation of what it was like to be a midwife during those years. But yeah, like I said, we're watching the bridge at the moment. After that, I'm not sure what we're going to move on to, but I could imagine we'll probably catch up on Walking Dead soon, to be honest. It's also, you get kind of fed up trying to avoid spoilers and stuff, so probably about time. And now we got sirens. I'm surprised there hasn't been any more, I'll be honest. Not that I've noticed anyway. Sounds like a few of you know about that show. I've never even heard of it. Oh yeah, we've got quite a few Graham Nortons to catch up on as well. We've been recording them. Also trying to avoid watching clips and stuff from that. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. Looks like I might be quite productive today, yeah? 2 bracelets and I'll probably finish the earrings as well. Except attaching the findings. Midsummer Murders, anyone? Oh yes. Now you're talking my kind of thing. The 20th season has recently become available in the US. It's currently airing here on TV. I'm kind of just, I think I'm waiting for it all to be available, so I'll just watch. I tend to prefer to kind of binge watch things. That's what we normally do as well together. Unless, obviously, like I said, it's ongoing. But I'll probably wait till they're all available and then I've recorded them or something and then I'll watch them. I don't think it'll be that many anyway. They don't do that many episodes in the seasons of Midsummer Murders anymore, do they? Unfortunately. But yeah, that's one of my favourites as well to watch. Always has been. That, Columbo, Murder She Wrote. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Obviously, the only difference is Midsummer Murders is kind of the only one that's still doing new ones, so the rest is just repeats. But honestly, I can kind of always watch the other ones, whether they're on TV or. I actually have the full collection of Columbo myself on DVD. But then again, they're always on TV, really, aren't they? On some kind of channel. From the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna run my beads. My guilty pleasure is watching cooking shows. That's actually something I don't watch either. So, you mean things like, what are they called? Like MasterChef and stuff, is that what it is? Or, I don't know, Great British Bake Off or whatever they're called. MasterChef, yeah, that's one of them. Not the USA one. They have them all over now, don't they? It's like MasterChef. Oh, I'm pretty sure there's like UK, American, Australia. Cooking shows make me hungry. Yeah, I don't know why. I know my mum likes to watch some of it, but I've never really been that into watching them. What I do know I tend to watch probably instead a lot of the time is snooker when it's on. But right now it's not. So that's why I tend to watch when obviously the snooker season's going. I watch snooker live, but then everything else. I usually watch everything that I like anyway. I watch it recorded, so I never really watch stuff live. Home shows. Yeah, that's a funny thing. I actually used to watch that years and years ago. What was it called? An American one where they actually literally built a house, I think. I forgot what it's called. I did used to watch that years ago, but what is Tammy Snooker? what I mentioned, or what it's snooker, that's a sport. I guess you would call it billiard sport, but I'm so hooked on YouTube. To be fair, I've just done it again. Not paying attention. I probably watch equally as much, if not more, YouTube than TV as well anyway, so I think a lot of people do that nowadays. Worst cooks in America? Not heard of that one. Murdoch Mysteries. Yeah, I know of that. That's actually one I've not seen. Okay, you know. It's weird because I tend to like British crime shows like Midsummer Murders, like what else is there? Can't think of them right now. But for some reason it's not all of it. It's just some. Because I know what is it, like Lewis and those kind of things. Even though in a way they're kind of similar, for some reason they've never caught me. Oops. Getting a bit of wind there. What are you making just joined? Well, I've already made these two bracelets, so the Egyptian style ones, the copper and blue, and then the silver and rose goldish. And then I'm just doing the earrings as well, the Egyptian style ones. So quite a bit today actually. Don't watch crime shows, there's too much crime in the news. Yeah, I get what you mean. Well, I guess my way of compromising is I don't really watch the news, to be honest. I haven't done for years. It's just too depressing, or there's subjects I get worked up and wound up and I start kind of kicking off even though there's no one to kick off to. I kind of started staying away from the news a long time ago. I'd rather watch my fictional crime stuff. Why do you sound like you're from Manchester? Probably because I moved to the UK this September? No, August, I think. This August 10 years ago, and I moved to Huddersfield to go to uni, and I've lived in Yorkshire ever since. So I already spoke English, obviously, and more or less the same, except for the fact that I picked up Yorkshire twang, basically. Not on purpose, but it happens when you're surrounded by it all the time. That's when you yell and cuss at the TV. It does get aggravating when they don't reply. Yeah. Yeah, they never do they? Rude. The only bit of news I actually get now is Philip DeFranco on YouTube. It's only actually quite recently I started watching him a little bit. I didn't for a long time, but it's not obviously really kind of the exact same news. I think it's part of the reason. I just got a little bit over all the news stuff. And it's just so negative and everything, so kind of got fed up with it as well. There's enough negativity going on, I don't need to watch more of it. Kind of depresses you. more than you already are. And back. Pill bottles out again. Really should have thought about it and got the mandrel out, but oh well. Manage anyway. Right. Bloody hair. Cut off the excess. Tuck the end away. And then we have a motorbike, like usual. I figure if it's really big news, it will show up on Facebook and I'll see it there. Yeah. Yeah, you'll just hear about it somehow if it's like something that everyone should know about. I do have the impression I think a lot of people have stopped watching news, haven't they? Like the typical news anyway. I like your wedding jewelry tutorials. Thank you, I'm really glad to hear that. Just compare them. Got my trusty bail making place. It was the smallest one. Yep. Better double check because you never know. Cut off the excess again. And then again, it's just really the findings that I need to attach. Now we just kind of reshape it a bit so it's round more than oval or teardrop. Something like that. So they're pretty much done now as well. Get that like the wire. That's actually the earrings as well. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do that, but then the bracelets were quite quick. And they match nicely. And now I've really just got to do the ring as well, but I probably won't do that now. I do want to do it quite soon though. I'd like to be able to wear that again. So yeah, that's the progress that we did today. I'm pretty pleased with that. They're quite nice. The pictures of them two, but also quite nice them two together there. I'm going to picture in some way when I get to that point. But I'll probably see about leaving it at that then. I think that's pretty good progress. We're streaming for just over 2 hours as well, so it's pretty good. Especially with the delayed start. Blooming technical issues. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching and supporting and all that. It really means a lot. As someone who is bedridden for 24 hours, this has been a lovely afternoon, and I appreciate the opportunity to create it here for you. Thank you so much. I'm really sorry to hear that, but thank you so much. Really glad it could help somewhat. Thank you for your time and talent. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who joined. I really appreciate that. It'd be kind of boring being here by myself, so it's really lovely to talk to you as well. Actually live rather than just a comment here and there, so I'm hoping to do a little bit more regular than it's been this time. I planned to do it a little while ago, but again, stuff came up continuously, so I was hoping to try and get it to roughly about fortnightly if I can. Not committing to it, but that's what I'm kind of hoping to do-ish. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining me. I think I'll leave it here. We can all get on with our own things. Life is a four-letter word. That it is. Probably about mealtime as well for some of us. Thank you, Liz. Right, well, thank you very much, everyone. Hope to see you next time, and obviously I'll be doing tutorials in between, so stay tuned for all that. Just a little teaser if you want to know. I have, don't know if you can really see this, but tomorrow's tutorial, get my hair out of the way, is for this mermaid tail wirework necklace. Don't know how much you can see, but you'll see tomorrow. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.